everyone, welcome to the Dear Journey podcast. I'm so happy to have you here tuning in, whether you're listening or watching me on YouTube. I just want to say thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I know that it's valuable, and I know that you have so many amazing things to do to make your day even better. So I'm glad that you're sharing that with me and that you're taking the time to listen to me. I really do appreciate your time. Last week in the self-forgiving and moving on episode, I shared with you that we have to be humble servants, and that in order to live this amazing life, that we need people, we need relationships, and we need to have a community or be part of a community and be the best us that we can be. And the only way that we can be our best is that we reflect, that we look within ourselves, that we deal with the demons, that we deal with the issues, that we deal with all of our insecurities and all the mental health things that can boggle us down, that we deal with those so that when we go and face the world, that we are much better. My hopes when you're listening to this podcast and watching me is that I can encourage you, motivate you, and inspire you to be the best you. I'm not perfect. I'm on my dear journey, and I'm just doing, the compound effect. Every day I put one foot in front of the other. I try to do my I do my absolute best. I give my best, and I show that into people. And even though those are all the amazing things that I want to do, there are sometimes when I put my foot in front of the other that I slip, that I fall, that I stumble. And what I do the next day is that I just right afterwards, I just take that other foot and I push myself up and I move forward. And I'm just figuring it out. I was going through a situation this week. If you follow me on Instagram, at Christine's Dear Journey, I was telling you how life is a mother lover. It's always teaching us lessons, and sometimes we don't learn those lessons right away. We kind of have to relearn them and go through some things over and over before we kind of like click. We get that click where we realize that we have to learn the lesson if we're trying to move on. If not, we're every day or every year we're gonna look back and like, damn, I'm still in the same mess that I was in last year. And that's because we're not moving forward. So I hope that I'm going to share this with you, and I hope that it encourages you, that it motivates you, whatever season that you're in, to be better. So this week I stumbled, okay? If I recorded the podcast the day that I shared with you on Instagram, that life is a mother lover, if I would have shared my story that day I stumbled. I fell, and I fell to a low level, right? Because I was about to do something that the old Christine in me wanted to do. As much as I am trying to better that old Christine sometimes has some power. And on my journey, I'm doing my best to kind of clean the old Christine and make that old Christine the complete new Christine. But until then, this is my dear journey. So if I would have shared, I probably would have shared some chisme. I probably would have regret giving you that low level, kind of low frequency information, and that's not what I want to do. So I'm glad that I am in a better place in my life, in a better mind space, and that my heart has been changed. And I always feel like the podcast kind of sounds the same, that it's always about changing, but it's because life is literally a challenge. Like today I may feel great and I've discovered some things, and tomorrow, that if I don't renew my mind by listening to positive things, if I don't tell myself positive affirmations, I can revert to being who I was. So it's an everyday challenge, and I want you to understand that, because if you're great today, the goal tomorrow is to be greater. And sometimes you go from being great to being good to being greater, and it's a challenge. It's never gonna be perfect. So that situation really put me in, like I said, in a bad place. So I want to share with you some things that I did to help me get on the next level, right? And not stay down in the garbage, and get on that high frequency and not stay down here with the mediocre people. The very first thing is that I went to the people who love me, the ones who really want the best in me and the best out of me, who really are seeing that I am on a journey to becoming great. I went to those people, and it's only 2 people that I went to. So if you only have one, that's better than none. And if you don't have any, reach out to me, because I believe there is greatness in you, and that everything that you've always aspired to be is in you. You just have to tap into that. So I went to these 2 people and I vented. I vented all the ugliness, and I said all the ugliness that I felt. And what I did with that is that I released a lot of negativity. I released a lot of the things that if I would have kept within me, were going to tear me apart. And when I shared that with them and they let me vent, and they kind of like walked me through the emotions and asked me the hard questions, I had to really look within, and the very first thing, or the one thing in common that they said to me is, you are the bigger person. You allowed yourself in this situation. They reflected the mirror back on me, and they let me know that I was in this situation because of the decision that I took, and that I had to reap the consequences, and I had to face the challenge, because sometimes as great as we want to be, sometimes we make mistakes. So when they showed me that mirror, I kind of was able to see that I had to suffer the consequences. Life is not perfect, and we all reap what we sow. And I will tell you that the situation, I watched The Green Mile this week, right? And one of the things that the guy says is, he used their love against them. And that's what I feel has been happening for me, is that I love to help. I love to help because at some point in my life and in my journey, I felt like I was in the ocean grasping for air, and I didn't feel like there was a sailboat or an oar or anything to help me, and I really felt like I was drowning. And the only reason that is because I was keeping all of my issues and my problems and the mental things that I was going through all to myself. And that's number one no. Any issues that you're going through, you need to find someone to discuss them with, and if you're trying to go through all these things alone, you're going to feel alone. And loneliness is just like, it's like the foundation for all the depression and really mental health issues that kind of boggles us down. So if you have someone that you can relate with, or someone that you can build a relationship with, do that. Use that to your advantage, because life is about relationships. And when you're trying to do life alone, loneliness can trick you. It can make you delusional that you're the only one. And I'm going to tell you something, you're not the only one. Whatever season you're in, whatever it is that you're going through, there's someone else out there that has gone through it, has persevered, or someone that's going through it, and just like you are, they're doing their best to move forward. And you need to share that with someone, because life is about doing it with other people. You have to build, you need to have some type of relationship. And loneliness is a trick of the enemy. That's where he puts these thoughts in your minds that they're not real, they're not true. You are great, you are amazing, you were put on this life for a purpose. Someone loves you, someone needs you, and you are worth all the things that you dream in your life. And I just want you to know that, because when I felt those things, I kind of forgot those things. But I'm so grateful that no matter how much I try to push people out of my life, the people who love me push themselves in my life, and they allowed me to go through my things without leaving me alone. So I pray that you find someone like that. So in this situation that I was going through this week, I felt like my love was being used against me. So instead of keep focusing on the negative of that, I had to, by talking to someone, I had to see the positives. And that is that life is a challenge. Karma is a bitch. It will come out to bite you in the butt. You will reap all the things that you sowed here on earth. In some way, somehow, before you leave this earth, you will reap the repercussions of all the things and all the decisions that you made. And that's not to scare anyone, but that's for you to realize that every time that you make a decision, you have to realize that there are consequences. to the decisions that you take. So I'm glad that I didn't take the measures that I wanted to last week, and that I have become a better person because I relieve the negativity. So I encourage you that if you're going through something, that you talk to someone, that you be the bigger person, and that you've worked really hard to be where you are right now. You've climbed some trash, some garbage, and some really bad times in your life, and tú has superado. Like you have gone to different levels in life. Don't allow someone to push you back into your trash, because you're better than that. I'm better than that, and I'm glad that I didn't stoop down to that level, because it's messy down there, right? Messing with trashiness and low level stuff is really messy down there. So I hope that as you're climbing to the top, to the next level of your life, that you realize that that you're not alone and that we're together. My husband says that my episodes are very heavy and that people don't like to look at themselves. Well, at first I was flirting with the idea, well, maybe I need to be a little bit more relaxed, and maybe my topics need to be a little bit different. And then I realized I want to be real, raw in all of that. I am who I am, and I cannot change who I am at my core. I can definitely become a better person, but to completely change and be something that I'm not, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it for myself, and I'm definitely not going to do it for the podcast. So when I said, number one, that I'm going to keep it real with you guys. I tend to question many things in life. I don't like to just let things be. And mainly it's because growing up in the church, you're told these are the answers, this is what it is. And you don't question it. You kind of just go with the flow. And even as a young girl, you do what I say, and that's it. Like, there is no more than that. So I never want to show something that I'm not. So if my episodes are heavy and they make you reflect on yourself, I'm doing what I want to do. I want truly for you to live that life that you've always dreamed of. And a lot of times we want to live this great, grandiose life, but we don't want to fix the little things, the things that are important, because one, it's hard. It's really hard to look at yourself. It's really hard to blame yourself or take responsibility for things, because we're just so used to sweeping everything under the rug, and having this microwave life where, what I want now, it doesn't matter what's going on. I'm just going to do it because I feel like it, I deserve it. And life, this really doesn't work like that. If you don't face those challenges, it will catch up to you. You can fake it till you make it, but somewhere along that journey, you're going to have to face yourself and who you are. And you're going to look in your surroundings and you're going to realize, who am I? What am I doing? Why am I here? And most of the time is because you haven't faced something that your instinct told you already. You already knew that you were going to have to deal with it, and you just avoided it. So I hope that when you're listening to my podcast, you answer the questions afterwards to yourself. Who am I? Who do I want to be? Why am I here? Who has told me this verbiage about myself? And do I really believe that I am what everyone else says that I am? Who do I say that I am? What do you say about yourself? And what are you? Like, what is the goal? What is the purpose? And, why do you believe other people and what they say? Why do you take the things that they say to heart? And why do you not keep your goals? Why do you not keep your promises to yourself? These are hard questions to have to answer, because most of the time you are responsible for the life that you live. And also, the hardest part is that some other people have been responsible and you've given them that power. You literally have gave them the baton and you haven't taken it back. And sometimes when others hurt you, you got to take it back. You got to take back the power. You can't just continue to allow them to hold this kind of strength over you. This lesson, this season that you're going through, it's going to pass. It won't be here forever. Like, think back to the time where it was really hard. Right now, the season before this, that was really, really hard. Think to that time, and you've made it, and you're going to make it again. So just stay encouraged. Listen to wonderful people like me, and other podcasts, read positive books, whether you go to church, whatever it is that you do to give you peace, just stay there and don't give someone else the power. Moving on, I want to do series in my podcast and my YouTube videos. My next series is going to be Where I Live Has Changed Me. It's going to be a 4-part series, and it's going to discuss how I moved to Florida in 3 months with no pre-planning. It's going to discuss how growing up in Newark and how living on 2 different sides of Newark, how challenging it was as a teenager. I want to discuss how just issues that you go through living in the hood, you know. I want to talk about how I flirted with the idea of moving back to Newark after leaving Newark. And I want to talk about how difficult it's been to relax when you come from such a rat race, kind of fast-paced space, and living in Florida. You really do have to learn to relax because people are so different. The things are so different. So the next series is just going to be just that, me sharing with you how where I lived has changed me. And I'm going to do a series about my curly hair. I want to do a series, and I'm going to do a series about, religion, church, and sex, as a one those 3 topics in one. The next series that I want to share with you guys is relationships, how important they are and how messy they are. I want to talk about how, my mom and I, as a single mom, that relationship and that bond that we've built. My mom is my best friend. I want to talk about how life is so complex, right? I have half brothers, stepsisters, half sisters. I have step family, half family. I have my own, family, but my life is so crazy. So I want to share the complexity just because I know there's people out there that have gone through things, and like me, haven't found that person that you can absolutely relate to. These series are because my life is complex. I talk a lot about my curly hair on Instagram, but it's not the only thing. I have a really big heart. I really do have big dreams, and I'm going to make them happen. But I've gone through some trashy things. I've put my own family through a lot of hardship when I was young and in these streets. So I just want to share some things with you. Just because I know that that's my purpose. I know that the more I share with you, the more I can reach people, and the more I can fulfill my purpose. And that is just that I can encourage you, motivate you, or inspire you to be the better you. I've come from some really dark places mentally, and I can tell you today, at 31, almost 32, with 2 kids and married after 8 years, that I'm in a really good place in my life. And I just want to share with you guys because I want to let you know that it's possible. I hope that you enjoyed this podcast, that you look forward to the series, and that you subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss the next episode, that you give this video and this podcast thumbs up. Give us a 5-star rating if you love it, or if you're enjoying listening to us. Write us a review, write us a comment. We really do appreciate your time, and we hope that in sharing with you that you know that you're not alone and that there's more people like you out there. And yeah, I really appreciate you. Until the next time, thank you for tuning in. Sorry if you was waiting for some chisme and some down dirty old Christine gossip. But nah, we're on the next level, and we're trying to be great, and we're trying to make sure that the community of Blacks and Browns are thriving, that we are getting better each and every day, and that our decisions are propelling us to be better, and figuring life together, because, this is our dear journey, and we all have a story. I appreciate you. Peace out. Bye.